Hi, my name is Chris. I work as a dentist, and I also serve in our youth ministry in our middle school.
Hi, my name is Vivian. I am part of the class of 2009. I graduated from UC Berkeley. We both serve in youth ministry. We've been in youth ministry for about 8 years now. We were with the high school students for the past 4 years, and then we graduated our senior class, and then now we're back to sixth grade with middle schoolers.
Okay, so the years that you were serving these kids parallels the journey with your kids' chronic disease. So can you tell me your struggle with that a little bit?
Naomi is 7 now, and Sophie is 5. And we were actually at a church retreat for the staff during that time. And I remember getting a phone call from the doctor because her eyes were swelling up and we weren't sure why, what was going on. And we found out that her kidneys were spilling lots of protein and that, it was pretty severe. And so that was pretty shocking news. And eventually we found out that she has chronic kidney disease. And I think at that time it was pretty shocking for me because no one else in our family has any health issues.
It was originally it was like the kidney issue. Then we found out that they were actually going deaf. They were born with normal hearing, but then they're slowly losing their hearing. Eventually, they actually became deaf, and so they got cochlear implant surgeries. They also had second one has like vision loss. And then we started to try to figure out what is causing this. It was a genetic condition called COQ6 mutation. It was pretty rare. I think only like about 25 kids are known in the whole world with the same condition that were diagnosed.
Yeah, discovered in like 2012, so there's just not much known.
Yeah, it was like 2011, 2012 when they first figured it out, and so it's like they don't even know. They don't even have kids who are like more than like 20 years old with the same condition, so they don't even know what the extent of. We don't know what the extent of, how this is going to affect their lives.
How did you guys kind of cope with the news, and what was helpful for you, challenging for you, or how did you deal with it?
Oh man, I think any new parent, you just want your kids to be healthy, so it was just really hard. I think it was just like lots of different rounds of denial. Like I remember thinking like, oh, it's just like a kidney infection or something. No, it's not going away. Oh, it's not really hearing loss, but no, they're actually going deaf. It was just really hard at different times, but I think what really helped me pull through, I think was just receiving a lot of help, receiving a lot of love from just the whole church. I think just a flood of emails of different people saying we're praying for you. And it wasn't just like that one time, but it was just constant.
Yeah.
Every
time we got a urine test result to see how Neo's protein levels were. Like if it dropped a little bit, like everyone would cheer. Like I would go into HB, like to the kitchen, and they'll be like, what's the number?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it dropped to 4. Yay.
Just constantly receiving a lot of love and prayers. A lot of words, like different books from different older couples who had, kids with health issues. They would send books and they would send different passages that helped them cope and help them kind of accept what's going on. And I think actually the other thing that really helped us pull through was actually ministering to the youth. So like when we first had Neo, when she was born was actually when the class that we ministered to from 6th grade to graduating high school, was when they were in 6th grade. So Neo was born, and then they were like, oh, you're gonna be our new staff, and so they came over, and so from the very beginning they were like really doting on our kids, and just each as we're kind of figuring out these like different health conditions and health issues, the high school, middle school, high school students, they're right with us. Mm-hmm. They're always like praying for us, like asking us how things are going. They would come over and
they would watch our kids like all the time, and they actually were like one of the first ones to kind of like notice Neo's like speech issues too. Yeah. And so they really treated her like their baby. Like she was our element baby.
Yeah. So like when Neo was trying to so she didn't talk until she was like 4. And so because of the hearing loss, and so when she needed to get a lot of like speech therapy, and then I still remember like some of the high school kids, like they would come over and like the little training things that we're trying to do with Neo, like they would do it with her. And so yeah, like that also really helped us, like just receiving their love. But I think just for us too, like I think like one of the things is that, yeah, if we didn't have youth ministry, I think we could have just really kind of gone down that rabbit hole of just feeling. I just really have a tendency to just have a lot of self-pity to begin with. So I think I would have just emotionally, I think I would have just gone into just this weird tailspin of just feeling bad for my kids, feeling sorry for myself. But even there's only so much worrying you could do, and instead of spending all that emotional energy and emotional time just worrying about our kids, there were these other kids, these high school kids that were like double my size. They would come to our house and trying to feed him and trying to get to know him, talk to him, hearing from him like just the different things that he's going through and different difficulties he's going through. And yeah, I mean, over the years, I think that really also helped. It was kind of like a way in which I think God helped us to kind of get out of ourselves.
On the flip side, help the middle school, high schoolers to be part of our lives and our kids' lives, because I think just as typical teenagers, they're pretty, they don't have any like big struggles in their lives, but just having these kids that they loved, that they've seen like from birth go through chronic health issues, they really cared about them, and they've always been a soft spot to them, and it kind of caused them to pray, to cry out for them. I remember they would just even hold their own little prayer meetings to cry out to God for their health needs. And I think it really I think it shaped them. And I think learning how to love someone and pour out into this one kid, I think it kind of formed who they became and kind of protected them also from maybe just going off into things that they would have.
So were there some quitting points?
We loved youth ministry, but there were times when just emotionally I felt like I felt kind of depressed. Like I just felt not as happy, didn't really enjoy things as much as I used to, and I had to, it was a blessing for me because it kind of forced me to think about like, why am I doing this? Just really strengthened my convictions that no, it's because there's eternity, and there's I'm not gonna just pour into my kids and my little life, because there's eternity, there's like life and death, and ultimately my kids, no matter what they go through, what chronic health issue they have, there's heaven, and they're gonna have a new body one day, and like this isn't gonna define my life.
I think one of the things I think about our kids is just early on, one of the things I kept on telling Vivian, and we would tell each other, is just the last thing I want is for our kids to grow up in a sad family. So just really wanting to try to, even for our kids, like show them an example of a life of just caring for others and pouring out rather than, just trying to protect. To be honest with you, even though I've been Christian for like 20 years, like I don't think I ever really thought about heaven much until our kids. Yeah. I think, and then, as just praying for healing or praying for, for them to be able to hear, being able to, be. It just dawned on me that, like, as long as Neo and Sophie follow God, God's going to answer this prayer for sure. Like when they get to heaven, they will have a new body. They're going to, they're going to be healed. Yeah. And, I think just the reality of just how short life is, and that if you just cling on to and hope in God, I think God will, God will carry you through. So just know that God's not going to abandon you. That God's our Heavenly Father and loves you, loves your children more than even you can.
When I first received the news, I think it was kind of a crisis of faith for me. Like the things that I believed, I had to really think, wow, like, do I really believe this? Like God, why are you allowing this kind of suffering in my life? Or why are my kids, why do they have these health issues? Can you really heal them? Like, are you powerful? Do you care? Like all these questions came to me, and I had to really struggle with, do I really believe this? And now I think because I went through that, I know, yes, like God does really care. I think I had a certain view of how my kids' lives should turn out. That, yeah, if in order to be happy, they need to be normal, like have a healthy body and like successful as the world defines it. But I think now, I don't know. Sophie might go blind. I don't know what their future holds. But I know that God is good and that God is a God who redeems. And I know that he's going to use their lives to be a blessing if they continue to trust him, even if it looks different from what is normally considered a happy or successful life. And so I think that's something I had to grapple with, and even just grieve the loss of like a normal future for them. But I think I came to really trust God more, that no matter what their future looks like, they could really be happy as long as they trust God and as long as they're secure in God's love. And God can really use them to be a blessing. So I'm really excited about that, and hopeful about that.
My name's Sophie. I'm 5 years old.
Okay. And Chris can introduce Nate.
And this is Neo, and she is 5 years old. Ow! She's 7 years old.